in public affairs campaigns, you're almost always trying to influence a pretty small audience. So to get their attention, you sort of have to reverse engineer like what do they want, what moves them, and then how can you get the right messages in front of them sort of in an authentic way and at the right time so that they're actually going to sort of like pay attention to it. And what I find most effective in doing that is finding people who already have an authentic story to tell that's in whatever the message is that you're trying to tell, like they have an authentic story already. So we find those people, we identify them, and then we figure out what's the best way to be able to get their message in front of the right people. So sometimes that looks like social media videos, other times that's an op-ed, yeah, other times it's direct contact where they're whether they're like calling in or setting up meetings with the legislators themselves, they're writing in, like things like that. And I always say this, but content is king and distribution is queen. You have to have both. And if you don't have a strategy for both your content and your distribution, you're not going to be as effective and you're not going to impact the outcome and create the outcome that you want to have. Um, I would say that the measurement part of like, are we being effective? Are I don't know what's going on with my camera. Sorry if I'm giving people motion sickness here, but I don't know how to turn that off. Sorry. But anyways, you can look at like things like click-through rate, engagement rates on whether it's like a text campaign or it's an ad campaign. Those I think are pretty frivolous metrics that can tell you some things and sort of influence the way that you like do your A/B testing and things like that, but it's not really telling you if you're impacting the actual outcome and influencing the people who you actually are trying to target. I think the best way to be able to measure is sort of qualitative. My favorite thing is when a client sees one of our pieces of content out in the wild and screenshots it or sends us the link and they don't know it's ours and they're like, this is great. And I'm like, yes, it is. Isn't that crazy how on message that is? Or if you're working with like a government relations team and they hear from the person that you're trying to influence that they've seen the ad out in the wild, there it goes again, or they bring it up sort of like in conversation that, you know, this is something that they've seen, that it resonated with them, or like it made them angry or whatever it is. So I
Mhm.
think qualitative measurement sort of is like the best sort of measurement that you can get. Obviously, when you can't get that sort of qualitative measurement, you have to depend sort of more on the other KPIs that come with, you know, traditional digital and advocacy campaigns. But when you can get the qualitative, that's always the best.